I've done actresses roundtable. You both have been on it. The one topic that we discuss every year, because we want to keep the conversation going, is pay parity. Today, now that I'm sitting with you all in 2026, where are we? Will Huma and Kritika, if you all are in a movie or a web show, along with a male actor, same, everything is same, role, the number of days of shoot, will you all get paid the same amount? I can see Huma has an answer, but...
I think it depends on the producers, actually. I don't... I'm not very qualified to answer this because when I've been the lead, I've been paid more, and then, when you're in an ensemble, it's different, and, there are those things. But I also want to say that we talk about pay parity, and there are many examples, and a lot of stars have also said that it's not the same when you're both indispensable. There is a difference between what the male actor gets and what the female actor gets. But I also feel that we must extend that conversation to parity on other fronts as well. What about screen time? What about complexity of character? What about marketing? There is so much more that if you compare what is given to a male lead, a lot of the times the female lead does not get that.
Huma?
Yeah, because films and series are, made only for the male gaze, I guess. And women are just accessories to that journey. And that mindset is so deep-rooted and so entrenched that it's just bizarre. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Which is why I always say, don't ask the women about pay parity. Next time you have guys, just be like, why aren't you offended that your female co-star is not getting paid as much when clearly the project is, mounted on both of you. Or, for example, there are enough and more examples of women just being used as a titillating tool, or just somebody who's there singing and dancing to help the guy on his journey to, beat up the bad guys. And I'm like, no, boss, I can protect myself, and I can also beat up some bad guys. You just have never given me that space to express myself. I don't need to just be waiting for you, or like longing for you or showing you hope. What about you doing that for a change for once in my narrative?
Is that one of...
Sorry.
Please.
Projects like, for example, Maharani or the Great Shamsuddin family, or, you can't look at these because, of course, Huma is the lead of Maharani. So she's going to be paid like that. We have to look at projects.
If another guy was doing season 5 of Maharani, I think he'll be paid far more than I'm getting paid.
No, I don't think so. I think you would be paid more. I don't think so. Not on Maharani, no. But we have to look at some other, like for example, we all know that a lot of stars get profit shares out of collections. How many female actors can command that? So, yeah, I think that comparison has to happen on projects and between.
And if she asks for it, she'll be called difficult.
Of course. Even if she didn't, she'd be called difficult.
Right. So, what, is that one of the reasons that you became a producer and you want to produce? Is that the next step, that let's do our own thing?
Hindi में कहावत है ना क्या विपदा में आपदा. You guys understand that?
I was thinking, बैल मुझे मार.
Also that. I think the idea is, I think eventually all actors want to, control IPs, want to control the kind of stories you want to tell, how you want to tell them. It's very difficult, guys. It sounds very cool to sit over here and, say it in this, but it really, like, I'm graying faster than I want to. But it's a lot of work, but I think it's also a lot of satisfaction. So my production company, Salim Siblings, is my brother, Saqib. And I think both of us have had that journey, quintessential outsiders, this thing where you are like, you get that initial success because, people feel you have that talent, but then of course there is a ceiling that's always put to you, and then you're always like, but why am I not getting that opportunity? And both of us are not the kind of people who would cry about it. We would be like, okay, what can we do about it? So I think turning producer came from that sense of like, okay, we want to tell our kind of stories, and even if it takes time, even if it's difficult, even if it's uphill, even if like every single time we go out, people are like, "Kyo kar rahe ho? Kya problem hai? Achha to chal raha hai." So you're like, no, but like, I mean, it's something that I want to do because I feel like I'm not just here to be popular for popular's sake. I want to create impact stories. I want to be part of impact narratives. I want to tell stories that, after like 10, 20 years I retire, I'll look back at my filmography and I'm proud of the work that I've done.
Right, like both the titles that you mentioned, The Great Shamsuddin Family and Maharani. I mean, Maharani, imagine this is when it started. Was there a plan to make season after season, and did you all know it'll become very successful?
No, not at all. Nobody believed in that show, I think. In the sense, like, it was this tiny show, and I don't think anybody thought something was going to come out of it. And till I think even when the show launched, and I think the first couple of reviews had come, they were not very favorable to us. So, in fact, we were quite depressed. Ki, oh, maybe the show's not going to do that well. And I think Thursday it had dropped, but by Sunday afternoon, I started getting so many calls, and the numbers started coming, and you're like, oh no, people are really watching it. And it is, I think, one of those rare shows that the writing is so supreme, and the direction, and Mr. Subhash Kapoor, his entire team of like writers, and every season we have a new director, but they all are so incredible. And there's so much attention to detail. And I feel like the beauty is, of course, the backbone is the writing, because they never, like, we talk about ideas like women empowerment, or like, we talk about representation of women in politics, but you're always talking down to people. You're talking down to the demographic, because you feel like, oh, they're not there where you are because you've just probably read more books or you're more educated than. But they actually wrote for those people, were actually in a language that they would understand. And I think that's very, very difficult. Right. We do a lot of like Heartland shows, but the misogyny is so prevalent. Here was a Heartland show where it was not misogynistic, it was not patriarchal, but it spoke in a language that was understood by the people it was meant for.
Right. When the Great Shamsuddin Family dropped, and I watched it, and I was going to record my Best Actress Roundtable just 2-3 days after that. And I called Kritika, I said, you have to be on it. I know it's a very short notice. I don't want you to think that I'm calling you last minute, ki someone else dropped out, so you come. But of course, we did a wonderful show that time, but what kind of reactions you still get? We were sitting in the room behind, and everybody was talking about that. That has changed things, and tell us, how does something like this get made?
With great difficulty. It took Anusha about 7 or 8 years to make this film. Same, when it got made, we didn't know where it was going to go, what was the home for this film, who's going to watch it. It's a really small film, hardly any marketing, nothing really. But the great thing about web is that people keep discovering things for like months and years, and that's lovely. And right now the film is traveling the world, it's being screened at different film festivals, and it's so nice that women world over are connecting with it.
Yeah.
For me, it really changed something. It's made me braver. I'm doing another indie film because of the love that Shamsuddin got.
Wow.
It gave me the confidence to take a chance. And what about those small, those small films? Where are the small films? They've just disappeared. Those mid-budget small films have absolutely, you don't see them anymore. And there's a space for that. And I want to be part of those. And Shamsuddin is testament to the fact that people also want to watch emotion. They want to watch something warm, heartwarming. They don't just want to watch crime. They don't just want to watch spectacle. Of course, there's a place for that. There's a huge space for that right now. But what about a heartwarming comedy or a family drama? Why aren't we making more of those?
Right, but will you balance it with something commercial as well through the year? If you're doing 2-3 projects, one for the commerce and one for your artistic satisfaction?
I don't choose things like that. Like, that's never a thought when I'm choosing to be part of a film or a series. But it happens sometimes on its own. Like Matka King came out, and many more people watched it.
Right.
So in terms of reach, that was maybe more commercial, you can say. But they're both special to me. I like the stories, and I would still go back and do them.